Hello, it's another Tuesday. It's time for Tuesdays at 2, where each week at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I share some of my knowledge, different topic each week about career management. This is episode number 119 of Tuesdays at 2. My name is Martin Buckland, and I manage and advance the careers of senior executives and those who aspire to be business leaders. So today's topic is, what is an ATS, Applicant Tracking System? That's what the acronym stands for, Resume CV. So you only get one kick of the can. You only get one chance to impress. But today you're not just impressing the human eye, you are also impressing the scanning machinery, otherwise known as ATS. It's a very sophisticated application that is employed by human resource functions and executive recruiters across the world. There are many different versions of it coming from different software houses, and each vary very slightly, but you cannot afford to make any mistake in writing a resume if your resume, and it will go through the ATS scanning machinery. So first impressions count. You only get one chance to make that impression. So there's many different interpretations of what an ATS resume is. But basically, I want to get to it in a nutshell here, is keep it simple. Don't have all sorts of graphics, all sorts of shading, all sorts of lines. That confuses the scanning machinery. The more graphics, the more lines, the more shading you put in, the less opportunity it's going to be to come out the other end. Never, ever have headers or footers. I see that when I'm giving free resume critiques, I see that so often that people have headers and footers. Here's something that may wake you up. If you've got headers and footers in your resume and you're not getting any traction, not getting any interviews, because resume doesn't get you the job, it gets you the interview. This is probably one of the main reasons why. The scanning machinery cannot pick up the text within a header or a footer. So if you have your name and all your contact information, your email, your telephone number, your LinkedIn address within that header or footer, the scanning machinery cannot pick it up. So when it comes out the other end, if it comes out the other end, nobody knows your name, your telephone number, your email, etc. So never ever have headers and footers. Minimum shading, minimum graphics. Don't make it too ornate. I would suggest you have, if you wanted to, you can have what I would call a colorful and graphic oriented resume, which you leave as a memorable moment when you leave the interview with the interviewer, because it's another memorable impression. Anybody got any comments? Please feel free to ask questions as we go through. This is one coming now. So let me just bring it up on the screen. Oh, Aldo, hi. Okay, so hi, Aldo. So pleased to have you here. So no headers and footers, minimum shading and graphics, blocks of text. I see text that goes on and on and on. This is not a book. This is a document for a quick read, a quick decision on whether you are going to be the perfect candidate. So keep big blocks of text out. Keep bolding, keep italics to the minimum. Yes, bolding and italics are there to highlight something, but you're not going to have the whole resume or CV bolded. That is going to throw the scanning machinery out instantly. Plus, it doesn't look good, because bearing in mind that when you write a resume, you've got to do it for both the scanning machinery and the human eyes. So keep blocks of text, keep it to a minimum, no more than 4 lines on any block of text. Now, this is the crucial component that many people miss out. An ATS is also a database. So If your resume goes into an executive recruiter's database, you send it off, they're not going to call you straight away. They're going to feed it into their scanning machinery. And then when a job becomes available fitting your skill set, they will type in various keywords, buzzwords, functional, skill-specific buzzwords to hopefully have your resume retrieved from the ATS. So make sure you have the particular buzzwords, the particular keywords that are pertinent to you. So may I suggest that when you are writing a resume, you place yourself in the executive recruiter or the HR function and think about, well, what business functional specific buzzwords are they going to type in at the other end to have your resume come out so then they can read it. So make sure you have all the correct buzzwords, keywords, functional specific buzzwords, keywords. And I'm going to show you a resume as we exit this Tuesdays at 2. I'm going to run you through a resume in a couple of minutes. So make sure you have the buzzwords and the keywords. And then make sure you don't have too many blocks of text. Keep them to a minimum shading, minimum graphics, absolute zero headers and footers. So now let me show you some samples of resumes I created. I'm just going to bring up. So yes, Anthony, to answer your question, very rarely now are resumes, sadly, I don't like it myself, they're read by technology, read by human beings. So be careful. And then Aldo's got a question here. Buzzwords that come from the job description should be included in the resume and the presentation letter. Absolutely correct. So you should always customize a resume to that particular job you are applying for. So some of the hard skills, the buzzwords, the keywords, the functional skill-specific buzzwords that they are looking for in the resume, and you can reprioritize them. And I'm going to show you a resume in a minute. And then also pull some of the soft skills. Those are your personal skills, and put them in the introduction text at the top of page 1. And then another question. This is great. We're getting some good questions. So, Raya, what font style and size do you recommend? Does it even matter? And should users target the ATS system or the individual reader? That is a great question, and that is a very long-winded answer to that. But there are many fonts that you can use, but don't use the ones with the graphic fonts, the ones with all squiggles and whatever. Keep it simple. So Arial and Calibri, Garimond, and a few others that are simple. Now, what size? That depends. So as I go through, and you'll see a resume in a minute, you don't want to highlight your address or your contact information, so keep that in small typeface. And then the larger typeface will be for areas that you want to sell. And each font takes up a different face, a different space on your resume. So to me, as a resume writer, is very real estate. All the real estate on a piece of paper is very, very important. But I also want to brand my clients as well. So never, ever, ever use Times New Roman. That is a very dated font. I say that it's like, well, for those of you who remember, it's like Courier was to the typewriter. So it's very, very dated. So hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, then please come back with another one, Rhea. But great question. So, yeah, fonts, building your brand is very, very important, but you have to build it within the confines of an ATS resume. So I've gone through what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So now let me show you a sample of a resume. I've made this resume anonymous. So obviously you have your name at the top, and then you have your acronyms for your designations and your degrees underneath your name, not right next to your name, because in this case, if the resume was read by scanning machinery, the scanning machinery would think Jim's name is BSc. So keep your designations and your degrees underneath your name, not here, right next to your name, where we used to prior to having ATS. Then you would have all your contact information, so your street address and your telephone number, your email, your LinkedIn address. Make sure you customize your LinkedIn address. Don't have the numbers and letters after your name. And today you need to have your Zoom address, so 10-digit Zoom address. Then you have a line separating this contact information, and then you go into starting to sell yourself. Remember that you are selling yourself. So generically, this guy is a senior IT leader. So what does that mean? He could be a CIO, a Chief Information Officer. He could probably be a CTO, Chief Technology Officer, or he could be an SVP, VP of IT technology. So, but I write the generic one, and then the client, you would customize this section here for the particular job. So if this guy, Jim, was applying for a Chief Information Officer, instead of a senior IT leader, he will put Chief Information Officer. And then underneath that, you have the 4 main hard skills that they are looking for in the application. So you chop and change those according to the application. So 4 main hard skills. So in this case, it's digital transformation, systems integration, cybersecurity, cloud computing, and risk management. You can have 5 there, 4 there, whatever, but never go to 2 lines. Then you have your personal brand. So what is your personal brand? Your personal brand is your unique promise of value, your differentiator. What is so special about you? It's your competitive edge, your value. So Brian has got a question here. So let's ask Brian. I know Brian's in career transition. Are some ATS easier to deal with than others? And how is the technology changing over time? For example, Talio versus Workday. Yes, right, Brian, they're constant. It's technology. They change every day. As I've been speaking in the last 20 minutes, 15 minutes, technology has changed dramatically. So it's tough for me and anybody else in my business, and tough for job searchers to keep up with the trends and what's happening. Workday is a very new, you're right, is a very new platform. Talio, I believe, was probably one of the first. It's pretty basic, but now they're updating that. So you have to be acutely aware of the different brands, I guess, of ATS. So yeah, so they do change, but that's a great question. So yeah, so Anthony has got a great question here. So the scanner rejects resumes based on fonts. No, it doesn't. Well, if you've got squiggly font, yes, it will, because it won't read it. But keep it. You're in marketing, I know, so you probably like a package design, I know. So you probably like some very creative, artsy fonts. Well, that's not appropriate for a resume. You keep it simple. So keep to the simple ones, except for Times New Roman. Never, ever, ever have Times New Roman. So hopefully that answers your question. So let's continue going through this resume here. So you have your personal brand. That's your unique promise of value, your differentiator, your value add, your competitive edge. So let me read this guy's personal brand. And I helped him because he engaged me. I helped my clients unlock their personal brand, wordsmith it, make it look very, very tight and very seductive, very attractive, to make the mind think, I think I need to call this guy. So, effervescent and pioneering leader, excels at creating high performance teams, focuses on transformative results and sharpening the competitive edge. And then I'll give you another one here. He's in sales and marketing, combines strong business acumen with deep consumer understanding, leverages data and technology to expedite consumer relevant ideas to market and explode profit. So that's a very captivating. You're in sales. This guy, even though he's in IT, he's in sales. He's selling himself. So you have to get in the sales mode, and it's tough for some people. Tough for people who are introverts, like engineers and many people in finance. It's tough for them to get into that sales mode, but they have to get into that sales mode. So hopefully those answer your questions. Please feel free to ask any more questions, but we'll continue going through the resume here. So then we have a 4 to 5 line block paragraph section on your soft skills, and that's where you sprinkle some of the soft skills they're looking for in the application. So if they're looking for patient, they're looking for methodical, they're looking for resilient, you need to put those buzzwords in because you are matching it there. So I'll read this IT leaders, idealistic and strategic, sees the big picture, rattles the status quo, plans and executes ambitious tactics to eradicate hindrances and capture technology and operational excellence. Leads by example, takes a calm and collected approach to empower teams, promote learning, and nurture career growth. Direct, open, and honest communicator, ardent listener, and strong negotiator. Gets straight to the point, unravels and simplifies technology jargon for all to understand. Renowned as an instigator of action and robust business partner, driving change to advance the business. So that's his soft skills. Now we move on to his hard skills. So this is where you need to this is where you play a game with yourself. Imagine your resume, your CV was hidden in your computer. What business functional specific buzzwords would you type in to have your resume come out? So there we go. I call it value added areas. You could call it core business competencies. It depends on the format I use. Have different formats and designs of resumes, but this one is value added areas. If you're an executive leader, you need to have these 3 in there in your resume: executive leadership, budget and P&L if you have it or had it, and resource management, so managing people. So this, guys, you can see I put it in a like this format, and you can have it. I don't think I've got one no, I haven't got one in. Oh yes, I have. Yeah. So this one here is in column format. So columns. Okay. So you can have it in like the one I just showed you, or column format. But make sure you have all those business functional specific buzzwords. So make sure those buzzwords are also on your LinkedIn profile. That's very, very important. So coming back to this person here, so he's got executive leadership, resource management, and budget and P&L, which all leaders have, or most leaders have. And then he has digital transformation, change management, cloud computing, IT strategy, IPO. So he's gone through an IPO, and mergers and acquisitions, SaaS, business analysis, business intelligence, SDLC, software development lifecycle, cybersecurity, ERP implementation, vendor management, asset management, project management, continuous improvement, performance management, agile, may have waterfall, may have Scrum, resource management, outsourcing, budget, and P&L. And then we move on to the crux of the resume. This is your professional experience. I call it professional experience. You can call it employment history, doesn't really matter, career history or whatever. But so many people make this mistake. You're highlighting not the company, you are highlighting the position. So de-emphasize the name of the company. This is ABC company, and emphasize the position. Bold, capitalize the position. And then you have the location, Toronto, Ontario. Then you have the dates in the right margin. Always have the dates in the right margin, not the left margin. That's another ATS point there. And then you can go into, so Vice President of IT Operations. And then you go into, I put leadership scope. So in this section here, these are some of the metrics that people are looking for, particularly executive recruiters at the senior executive level and HR people for the senior executive level. So your direct reports, your indirect reports, your CapEx budget, your OpEx budget, and your P&L. If you've got a variety of offices located, you need to put that. If you operate in several countries, put those countries or 3 different continents or whatever. And then anybody got any further questions, please feel free. I'm here for you. More than happy to answer any questions, not just related to resumes. So then we go into the legacy. So you always leave your job. Most people leave a job with a positive legacy. You're not going to put a negative legacy there. So you need to have a legacy. So this guy, his legacy is played a pivotal role transforming the culture from traditional IT-led mindset to a forward-thinking, competitive, agile, and forward-facing services organization. So that tells me a lot about that guy just in those 2 lines. So that's in bold, italics, and depending on the design, I change it. And then we go into the nuts and bolts of your resume. So I don't call myself a resume writer anymore. I call myself a storyteller. When I first started writing resumes, it's hard to believe, it's 31 years ago, I used to put responsibilities. The only responsibilities now I'm interested in is what I've just covered, the leadership and your budgets, etc. The rest of it is now performance. I'm interested in your projects, your achievements and challenges, built around an acronym called STAR. So situation, task, action, result. Situation, task, action, result. So I call myself a STAR story writer. Every one of my clients is a STAR. Now I'm going to put my let's see if I can put my I'm going to put my email there. So anybody who wants a free, no obligation, no sales pitch, 30 minutes resume critique, I'm more than happy to give that to you. Mention you were here at Tuesdays at 2, and I'm more than happy to give that 30-minute free, no obligation resume critique. So email it to martin@AnEliteResume.com. So I call myself a storyteller built around the 4 letters, S for situation, task, action, result. And recruiters are generally looking for 1.5 star stories per year. So for the last 10 to 12 years, don't go back any more than, say, 15 years. But if you had an outstanding accomplishment before 15, after 15 years, then you can put that. But you need to start summarizing, because you never, ever, ever go beyond 3 pages. Keep it to 2 pages or 3 pages. Don't do 2.5, 2 1/3, 2 1/4. You either fill 2 pages or you fill 3 pages. Everybody has enough to fill. Everybody I work with in my audience, my clientele, has enough to fill 3 pages. I could go on infinitum, but I cannot go beyond 3 pages. So that's where wordsmithing comes in. That is very, very important. So we continue going down. We go on to all his star stories, and then we go to the on the page 3. Now always put the page number, but not a header here. Not a header. That has to be in regular typeface. And then we go to his education at the bottom there, and you can put education, you can put memberships and associations. Here again, you are selling the degree, not the university. So don't bold, capitalize, emphasize the university or the college or whatever. You are selling your degree. This is your resume, not the university's resume or your employer's resume. So hopefully that is it takes a long time. Don't think you can write a resume overnight. It does. The more effort you put into it, the more time you put into it, the better it's going to be for you. So a resume takes a long time. Be very diligent, and then of course send it round to people, get it proofread, have a look at it, and then customize it to each one with those buzzwords, those keywords: industry, skill specific, level specific, because C-level clients have different skill sets to middle management and junior management. So hopefully that has given you some good answers. So we got some more questions here, hopefully. Okay, so we got some really good questions here. Great. Okay, so let's answer. So Andre, hi Martin. How would you break down 4 progressively roles within a company? Great question. Thanks for coming forward with that, Andre. So what I do is I do the overall dates for the particular company. So in this case, I haven't got an example here, but we do the overall dates here, and then I would put held the following 4, 3, 2, or whatever progressively responsible positions underneath here before I go into the first position here, and then I would go into the position here, and I would take the bold off, and I would put the years. I'm only interested in the years. I'm not really interested in the months. There are certain IT resumes, lower the programmers and engineers and whatever. You would put you would put months, but not in an executive resume. And then you would go through the same position, and then you would go through to the next position. You would go through to the next position. So yeah, that's the way I write my resumes for people who've been in their position for a long time. Where are we? Now we got another question here. Aldo, I think I answered it. What should be the maximum number of pages? 3. Don't go any more than 3. There are some exceptions to the rule. You know, then it becomes more of a CV, but traditional CV for scientists, chemists, doctors, all sorts of physicians, surgeons, all sorts of different people. So don't really have more than 3 pages. You go to 4 pages, you are going to kill yourself. And then let's go to number 1, Patrick Bothwell. Volunteer positions after education. Yeah, volunteer work is very, very crucial. So volunteer work is, what does that show me? It shows that you're willing to give your time. It's also a learning exercise, and it's a great networking opportunity. So I've had several clients who found their next job by meeting somebody who they were working with them at a hospital or another place where they volunteered. Now, let me qualify that. If it's political, if it's religious, try and keep that out, because sadly, we still pick on people because of their their political persuasions or their religion. We shouldn't do, but we do. So be very careful. And I'm really not interested in if you were a coach for your kids for 2 years, hockey or football or whatever. But keep it to something of substance. I'm not saying that's not substance, but keep it to something. And if it's relevant to your particular industry, yes, that's great. So hopefully those have been beneficial to you. Anybody got any other questions? Because I'm more than happy to answer it. Please feel free to ask any questions. Danielle's got one question. Danielle, welcome. I just put the name of the charity that I volunteered on. I did not put the position. They will ask me if I want to the interview. Correct. No, put the position as well. You just put volunteer, or if you held some volunteer position, like an executive position. So if you're in industry, excuse me, if you're in, say, for instance, an industry where you're in accounting or something, and you're the CPA Association in Canada you volunteered to be the treasurer of the CPA. You need to put that, because what does that tell me? That tells me that your peers have voted you into an executive position as well. So make sure you put that in your resume as well. So volunteer position is very, very important. What fonts and 11 point for a resume? Daniel, I was talking about that earlier on. It depends on your resume. I try and vary, but there's about 22 different fonts that I use, but I don't use those squiggly fonts. Use ones that are easy to be read to the human eye and the scanning machinery. And yes, it doesn't, sometimes 11 point in one is a different size, believe it or not, to 11 point in another one. So that's where you have to play with fonts, but don't have multiple fonts in a resume. Keep it to one, maximum two, but preferably one. So choose your font and make sure that font is used in your cover letter. It's all part of branding. Use the same heading, use the same font, because it's all part of your branding. Hopefully that helps you, Danielle. When in the interview, is it correct not to answer a question of your current job that you judge confidential? That depends on your country. That depends, there's so many variables there. It depends on your country. It depends on how deep they're trying to dig. You are in a confidential environment when you enter the interview. So you should be prepared to talk about your current company. What are you hiding? There's a lot of questions here. Me as an ex-detective will think, well, what is this guy hiding? Why is he hiding his current employer? Because we're in a confidential environment. I'm a great believer in showing it on your LinkedIn and showing it because you're telling the truth. You can't really hide your current company or your position. Hopefully that's helped it. Okay, so bullet points for volunteer roles for yes, here in Canada. Yeah, so although I would, no, be honest, be open. We're in an open, honest society. There's probably more negative connotations to positive feelings. If you are in a confidential environment, I need to see you lay it all out on the table, because otherwise I will think, there's something not quite right about it here. And also that when it comes to names, like I was speaking to somebody this morning, his name was, let's use it, Martin B, but he didn't put his what his last name is. And it was a pretty simple English name. It wasn't a complicated Southeast Asian name. So you need to put your name there, because on his resume, he had his full name. And then on his LinkedIn, he had Martin B. So I would, if I had his resume, I would then go and search on LinkedIn, and I couldn't find him under Martin B, because he's or Martin Buckland. So yeah, you have to think about synergize everything between your LinkedIn profile and your resume. Could I show a star sample? Yep, sure. So let me see if I can pick one out from this one here. Okay, so bear with me 1 second. I'm going to read this out. So the situation was tasked to build a global operating model based on follow the sun operating model as the company acquired several entities in the Asia Pacific and Japan, and in brackets APJ region. Next one, situation, that's the situation. The task, planned an integration of products and culturally diverse teams with an emphasis on streamlining operations, increasing efficiency, decreasing expenses, upskilling employees, and shifting work to lower labor cost regions, i.e. outsourcing, Southeast Asia, for an example. The next one, action, conquered cultural diversity and work ethic and blended teams from 3 diverse entities into one global group supporting 157 countries. The result, established innovative employee learning plans to advance skills, provide career growth, and reduce labor costs in North America while increasing capability overseas. Now, it's very, very important that you have statistics as well. So dollar value, if you're in North America. If you're in Europe, euro value. If you're Britain, you need to have Great British pounds. If you're in Australia, you need to have dollars, and then you need to have percentiles. So the more metrics you have in your resume, the better it's going to be. If you work for a public company, you're at liberty most of the times to talk about the statistics. So, you know, and acronyms like this one here, challenge to prepare for an initial public offering, and in brackets IPO. And then for the rest of the resume, you use IPO. And reviewed expenses, increased EBITDA to optimize value. So, so you need to think about all your accomplishments, and if you can put metrics in there, that's really good. So let me have another one. And Danielle's got a great question here. So, yes, it does. Thank you. Oh, yes, the header has to be the same in the cover letter. I was not doing that. Was just sending the cover letter with Dear Hiring Manager and then the letter. So I have to put my header on. Well, not the header that's in Word, the format header, but yeah, put the header on. And also, don't just put Hiring Manager. See if you can find the name of the hiring manager. So what you need to do is call the reception in the HR function at the potential employer and tell them you're applying, receptionist or in the HR function, tell them you're applying for this particular job. May I have the name of the person who's hiring for this particular appointment? So, and I was told to put my favorite color on my name or highlight my name in that color. You can put color, but there again, it's like bolding and italics. Don't go over the top. You can put a little bit of color, but don't just color, bold, 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 italics, italics, italics. Keep it simple. Keep it plain. Easy to read for both the ATS and the scanning machinery. So hopefully that helps you, Danielle. And we have another question, Danielle. Wow, you're coming with some good questions here. Wow, I've never done a star. Thank you. Well, you are a star. So think of all, you're going to be hired for your accomplishments. You are not going to be hired for your responsibilities. This is a crucial element that people let themselves down. I'm not going to hire you for your responsibilities. I know what responsibilities are. They're pretty, they're open. I mean, after writing resumes for 31 years, I know all the responsibilities for every single function, every single level, every single industry. I'm interested in you, the candidate, making me money, saving me money, streamlining operations, eliminating headcount, introducing new systems, processes, using Scrum, Waterfall, Agile, all sorts of different things. How did you use it? How did you transfer from outsourcing from Canada to Southeast Asia? So, and what did you say? What did you say? $1 million, $2 million, or whatever. So you need to find that out. So yes, I do try and find the hiring manager's name. Thank you. And then another one is I have a light teal blue, a little bit. That's fine. To me, a light teal blue is a little bit cold. I maybe use a bit more of a more robust, heated, a hot color. But that if that's your part of your brand, then that's fine too. So hopefully I've helped quite a few people here. If you've got any other questions, I can stay on for a few more minutes, but I will show you another resume, another format. So this is a senior turnaround and finance leader. And then there's some of his hard skills underneath that. Here's his personal brand, which is navigates companies and stakeholders through periods of growth and contraction with strong business acumen and leads with emotional intelligence. Then we've got his soft skills here, and then we got all his hard skills. We got this one's a slightly different resume, but we got the three, is it three or two? Two accomplishments, and you chop and change those, and then reverse chronological of your work experience. So really, a resume is going to take you hours to create, but make sure, just to go back to this, I want to reiterate this, make sure you have all the acronyms, designations underneath your name, not right next to your name, because in this case, the scanning machine will think your name is MBA, BCom, CPA, CMA, CIRP. So make sure you have all your designations right next to, or underneath, sorry, your name and all your addresses, so people and your contacts. Because if I was a recruiter, I want to pick up the phone. I want to give you a call straight away. So make sure you have the correct phone number. People have their old phone numbers on their resume, and they wonder why they're not getting a call. How silly is that? That's crazy. So I can write a book on this. So it's unbelievable. Well, let me here. What are your thoughts on pronouns or title presentation? I would just leave it as your name. Forget about Doctor or Mr. or Mrs. or MS or whatever. Leave it as your name on your resume. And then Andre, if we as a team saved a couple of million for the company, how would I write it? Supported corporate treasury in saving $2 million, and then so that's a situation. I mean, a bit more than that, and then you go into the tasks. There's a lot of stuff that goes on into building to saving $2 million. You can't do that overnight. So there's a process. That's task and the action. Anybody, you're welcome, Patrick. I'm more than happy. If anybody wants a free, no obligation resume critique, send it to me. You can send it to me either on LinkedIn or you can send it to my email address, and I'm more than happy to give you 30 minutes of my time. But I say it as it is. Maybe brutal, but you only get one kick of the can here. So you get one chance to impress. If you've got a non-ATS resume and you've got a resume that's outdated, got the wrong phone number on all sorts of different things, many things come into play here, you're not going to get a call. Or you might, but it's going to be fewer calls, and you might be in career transition for a very long time. So Danielle, it's got one here. Yes, I am a star. Of course you are. Everybody's a star. You need to think about it. You need to get your motivation up. It can be very frustrating going through a job search. Yes, I need to put more on my accomplishments, but do you do it for every bullet point? Yeah, so every bullet point you need is a part of the star story. So you need to have some star stories. Forget about your responsibilities, and as I told you earlier on, except for a few that I mentioned earlier on, I was told that the first job 5-7 bullet points. All the ones before your job now 2 to 3 bullet points. That depends. I don't know how long your career history is, so I can't really answer that. But they're going to concentrate, psychology and people, the decision makers are going to concentrate on your latter part, your current job or your most recent job, and maybe the 2 or 3 before. So the last 10 or 15, maximum 15 years, and then you can really scale it back. So hopefully that's given everybody some good information there. As I say, I'm more than happy to give you 30 minutes. I will go through it from top to bottom. Email it to me, send it to me on LinkedIn. If you're an executive, I'm more than happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. I'm running out of spaces on LinkedIn because I'm hitting my 30,000, but you can follow me on LinkedIn, and I put a different topic about career management every day, about 7 o'clock in the morning. And then there's other blogs that I've written over a period of time going on. And I'm here on every Tuesday, more than happy to help you. And then I'm here on Friday and Monday, talk career tips for a crazy world, a 1 minute quick career tip. So, where are we here? So another one here from Danielle. I also do not have my address on. Of course, I have my email and mobile and LinkedIn. Have your address on there, or your town at least, and city and province or state or county or whatever. So hopefully that's got your, you've learned a lot. I'm more than happy to give you my time, go through it from top to bottom. It's been a pleasure. Another one, Danielle. Oh, Danielle, you're keeping me busy today. Thank you for this great video chat. More than happy to go on. I'm starting to do some courses, preparing some courses, and they will be on various aspects, personal branding, resume, CV writing, and whatever. And they will be 2, 3, 4 week courses. Little bit of payment there, but you will get a lot of value. Remember, the ROI on managing your career is huge. So you need to manage your career. The day you find your next job is today to start the next job search. Career management is 24/7, 365. Those people who manage their careers will land a lot faster if they are put into career transition. They will earn more money and they will retire earlier. So hopefully that's a tease for many of you. Anybody got any other? Oh, Andre here. Can the title be positioned above the? Yes, you can do it either way, but make sure you bold the title, not the company. You're not selling the company. This is not your company's resume. This is your resume. So it's a personal document. So same with your LinkedIn. Don't get your company to put all their logos behind your portrait picture on LinkedIn. It's your profile, not the company's profile. So there we go. Hopefully hopefully you've got some good information, and I will be back for Tuesdays at 2 next week. Let me just see what I will be talking about next week. I have little work-life balance. So that's my topic next week, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I have little work-life balance. Thanks for joining me here today, and I look forward to you joining me next Tuesday for another Tuesdays at 2. Remember, manage your career 24/7, 365.